it is easy to see that things just didn't quite go according to plan for the Minnesota Vikings, for our favorite team this year. And I think there's a lot of reasons for it. I think if you watch the games, you could just tell that Mike Zimmer just wasn't making the right that he just wasn't making the right calls as a head coach. Wow, excuse us. And I think that's for a lot of different reasons too. I think he's a very good defensive coordinator, but clearly his time in Minnesota did not work out as a head coach, and it got me thinking. So the Vikings, back in 2014 when Mike Zimmer came in, they were a rebuilding team. They had Adrian Peterson, some Jared Allen. I think he was pretty much on his way out at that point, or he was on the way out, excuse me. And Everson Griffin was a young, promising star as a defensive end. You had some other pieces, but, like Chad Greenway, not a whole lot, though. Like, you didn't have a lot. And you were kind of thinking to yourself, okay, probably going to be rebuilding years for the next couple of years. Okay, that's fine. But this time around, with the recent head coaching and GM, general manager firing, by the way, it's a different feel to me. Like, I don't feel like the Vikings really need to go out and get a lot of talent. Like, yes, they've got some free agents, guys like, Tyler Conklin and a whole list of other guys that we'll get into later on in the offseason here that they could potentially re-sign. But, like, this team, I don't have that feeling with this team. Like, I really fully expect them to be able to not only make some noise, but I feel they could dominate with the right head coach. Like, you can look through all of our channel, all of our videos. For the vast majority, we do not give the Vikings a whole lot of respect because we've been hurt by this team. Mommy, I can change him. This entire thing, it's been our mindset for the last, since I was 6 years old. 19 years I've been a Vikings fan, a diehard fan, and it's like, you don't get your hopes up. That's one thing you don't do. But I'm going for a little bit of optimism today because I truly believe that if the Vikings have the right head coach, and he's willing to make the tough calls, he's willing to, obviously work with Kirk Cousins and be in charge of the entire team, like Mike Zimmer just seemed to struggle to do. I feel like this could be a team that dominates, especially if it's a head coach that likes to be aggressive, especially on the offensive side of the football. We saw when Justin Jefferson was targeted at least 11 times, those deep shots, the Vikings are a tough team to stop. And plus, not even to mention Dalvin Cook, Adam Thielen, Tyler Conklin, if they were signing him, and an emerging offensive line. It's not great by any means, but there's some pieces there. Like, at least you got Christian Darrisaw, who played respectively in his rookie year. You also got Ezra Cleveland at left guard that played well. Brian O'Neill at right tackle. So, there's pieces here. And I think on the defensive side of the football, you got Michael Kendricks, that's his brother, Eric Kendricks, Cameron Bynum, also Harrison Smith is there back there as well. You could potentially, could he be a candidate for trade maybe in the offseason? Maybe, but you also got Cameron Bynum, like we said. Cameron Dantzler has shown flashes. I think overall has been a disappointment, but there is flashes, there is promise with a guy like Cameron Dantzler. And overall, if you get Danielle Hunter back, that's big. DJ Wanham has shown some stuff. And the two boys, Michael Pierce and Dalvin Tomlinson, have shown some things as well. But, so all that encapsulates into this. It's not a full rebuild. When we're not going to reinvent the wheel when we say this. It's not a full rebuild. I think it's a retooling offseason. I think the Vikings have to go after, I don't know if it's Brian Flores. I don't know where the best head coaching candidate is. But that coaching candidate needs to be an aggressive, offensive-minded coach that will look over the entirety of the defense. I think they should just give that title to Andre Patterson at this point, but because I love Andre Patterson, I really do. And I think if you can get a defensive coordinator, an up-and-coming defensive-minded coach, whether that's, not Andre Patterson, he's not exactly young, but he deserves it to be a defensive coordinator. And I think if the Vikings can either give it to Patterson or find a guy that's had a lot of success as a position coach or maybe as a defensive coordinator somewhere else, I think some good things could happen. And it's not like the Vikings don't have any talent. We just named off, there is talent on both sides of this team. And I think moving forward, if you can get the right leader that players want to play for, they'll run through a wall for a head coach. I don't know. The Vikings weren't far off, especially with a coach that you could tell if you watched the tape. I don't think they like playing for Zimmer. I don't think so. He just didn't seem like he was the coach that would make adjustments or at least would hear his players out or at least, and I think Eric Kendricks even said a little bit about it, the fear culture. That clearly wasn't it. But if you get a coach in here that listens to his players, that is willing to make the adjustments, that is willing to be aggressive and do whatever it takes to win, I think, honestly, the Vikings could be back more dangerous than ever next season because they have Kirk Cousins for one more year, over $40 million, I think. That's his cap hit, or it's like $35 million. It's a lot of money, but I mean, it's not a rebuilding year. The Vikings still have talent. They still have players that, honestly, if you look at the entirety of this roster, this should be the most attractive head coaching position in the entire NFL with how much is on the line for and which is at the coach's disposal. Now they could choose, with a new GM and a new head coach, they can totally choose to trade players away, do a little bit of mix and match, get a whole bunch of picks and everything, help loosen up the cap space, and that's totally plausible. But I don't think that's the way to go here because this is not a team with one or two players. This is a team at every level of every part of this team. There is a talented player, and I think with the right head coach, the Minnesota Vikings could dominate. But let us know what you guys think. Make sure you guys like and subscribe down below. Leave a like and a comment. It helps people find the show. We greatly appreciate all the support that we've gotten and continue to get. You guys are truthfully awesome, and we love every single one of you. Check out our website at the Sports Beat Podcast. Not podcast, podcast.com. That's in the link as well as all of our social media platforms. So give us a like and a follow there. Also in the description down below, you will find the link to iTunes where you guys can give us a listen and sub. And finally, if you have anything else you'd like us to cover, send us an email at thesportsbp@yahoo.com. Yahoo! We'll stop doing that pretty soon. Or you can put it in the comment section down below, and we would love to cover it. But let us know what you guys think about the Vikings, Minnesota Vikings potentially being able to dominate with the right head coach.